Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match reaction. Brentford 1, Manchester United 1. What an absolutely shite performance by Manchester United. How we got away with a draw there, I will never know. And we nearly nicked it. But we weren't even good enough to hold on to a lead for, 60 seconds at max. So, yeah, absolutely terrible performance. But as always, guys, please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And we've got the three guys in. We've got Desi, we've got Chris, and we've got Ben. He has his name down as chairman, so we'll give him the first nod there. Chris, what's your thoughts? Absolute. I think that's up there with probably the worst performance of the season.
It's one of them. It's pedestrian at best. I don't know where we were. I don't know where the legs were. I don't know. It just looked lackluster, and it's just like it looked like we were trying to play the way Brentford wanted to play, which was kind of sit back and hopefully we counter and we get one goal, and we did, and then we just can't play defense. That's just it. It was pretty dismal. No chances, no midfield. Kobbie Mainoo, played well for England, didn't play well this game. Bruno didn't play well. McMuffin was nowhere to be found half the time, And then, Rashford, every time he got the ball, I think, like when you play PlayStation, you hit the B button for the boost. Like nobody was hitting the B button for him because he wasn't moving with pace at all today. And Garnacho came off. Did he get injured? I didn't see. So
no, I don't think he did. I think it was just down to the time he played in America and the traveling he done supposedly.
So, but I don't know. If we play like this against Chelsea, we're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
I watched them play and they moved. They ran. Everybody else ran. Our team didn't. So
Desi, how do we go from the great performance of the Liverpool game with pretty much, I think it was the same starting 11, or it was mentioned throughout the game. How do you go from that to such a poor performance? And some people were saying international break and so on and so forth. I don't really subscribe to that. I think it's fundamentally what we see out with this team week in, week out, just inconsistency.
Yeah. I think we were all trying to look for excuses, isn't it? Trying to figure out why we're playing so bad. It's just been like that for the season. I think we can't blame the international break. I'd say it came at the wrong time, but you'd still expect them to come back to the club and after the last performance, have their backs up and go out there with a bit more pride, and just it was an abysmal performance. I think just shocking to watch.
What was most disappointing about it? Like, was it midfield? Was it because I think we probably our back four defended actually quite well, but they defended more than they should have had to.
Yeah, and going forward, the link-up play wasn't there. I kind of thought, maybe I'm wrong, in my own opinion, I'd say he probably could have switched to a 4-4 with a false 9, give us a more relief towards Highland, because he was just chasing scraps all day, and it was very few scraps most of the time. But just all over the park, Jack. Yeah, the defence, they done okay. But, Brentford hit the crossbar twice, hit the post once, and you're thinking the football gods are looking after us here, and then we go and score. Then, as you said, we can't hold on to a lead for 60 seconds or whatever it may be. And the game's nearly over. Like, you need to have game management then, They all would have known that, we have snatched this game. Just to go and just concede straight away, it just shows you what sort of a squad we have, really.
Yeah, 100%. Ben, any positives to take out of it? Like even the likes of Kobbie Mainoo, had an off night, didn't seem to be getting on the ball and as composed as he normally was, and obviously he's a young player, so we're not going to put the blame at his feet. But is there anything we can take out of it?
We didn't lose.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
I say we didn't lose. Martinez come on and got some minutes in his legs. Mount come on,
Everly
got some minutes in
optimist.
his legs. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chris, like looking at that, like I mentioned it a couple of times throughout the game that I thought it was midfield more than anything else that allowed us to get dominated as much as we did. I thought we were too easily played through. I thought we were outnumbered in midfield, and I think that's mainly down to the likes of Scott McTominay just not being able to play that central midfield role to a specific standard. Would you agree with that, or have you got any other inputs on why or how maybe?
1,000%, 1,000%. I mean, you play a man down when McTominay has to play in the middle as a midfielder. If you're telling me like you mentioned, he's going to come on as an impact player, impact sub, and his only job is to go forward and try to score a goal. That's a different scenario. Like it's a different scenario when you set up the team and he has to play midfield and he has to try to hopefully help try to control the game compared to when you come on and you say all your job is to get up to go forward and to be in the box. It's two different situations and he can't play a normal midfield role and we've seen it. And what makes it worse about Brentford when we play Brentford, like you said it many a times, Brentford gets 10 behind the ball. So they're always going to have numbers. And then when you have a guy that can't read the game in the midfield like McTominay, then you're even down farther and they're just going to play right through you. And I can't ask Kobe Manu to burden the load and we know that Bruno isn't going to be tracking back like a normal midfielder would, because he's going to play the 10 role. It's just we're outnumbered again, and we're not set up for it. And Lindelof can't play the destroyer role and play breaking role as a center back because he's more of a reactionary center back, if that's the right term for it. He just doesn't. He's not going to break plays. Even Maguire. Maguire steps through and tries to step forward and break a play that's coming forward. Martinez is the best at it. Lindelof isn't. And Varane is not. Varane is more of your sweeper-esque type center back that's going to clean up everything behind. And so we're just playing down. And like we said, we can't break teams down. If they get 10 behind the ball, we're in trouble. Like you might as well play back to Onana, try to bring them all the way out, and then try to play through them again. Because once they get 10 behind the ball, we're done.
Yeah. Desi, I mean, that central midfield role or position, I mean, it needs serious reconstruction in the summer, doesn't it? Like I've mentioned it before, we need a CDM. Whether Casemiro stays or goes, I still want one to come in. We probably need another number 8 if Christian Eriksen goes. I mean, minimum 2 midfielders, I would say, in the summer, surely.
Yeah, definitely 2 midfielders and a centre back. We need another centre back, Jack. We need a ball playing centre back.
Yeah,
it's crucial for. Chris has mentioned about drawing teams in. If you want to draw teams in, you have to have good ball playing centre backs.
Yeah.
To be quick 1-2 passing football players. Maguire's not good at it. Varane is not good at it. He's past it. When you look at the likes of City and they draw teams out of their own half, they always look comfortable. It's like second nature to them, and then you just play it around them and all of a sudden run an attack. We can't do that.
Yeah.
We can't draw teams out. Do you know what I mean? So, like, another thing there about saying about the midfield, it's been happening now week in, week out, where teams have just come straight through the middle for us now. We can give out about the players and the players' efforts, but I am Eric Ten Hag in. You asked me a question a while ago. Are you Eric Ten Hag in? Oh, yeah, Eric Ten Hag out. And I said I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
The reason for that being is because some of the stuff that, like, he has to see, Jack, some of the stuff that's happening on the field. He has to change the formation today again. He has to.
Yeah.
There's no link up between the middle line and the forwards. How many times did you see Rashford on the shoulder of the defender getting a through ball into him or making runs in around the corner? It never happened. He's chasing these long balls over the top because the disconnect from the midfield to the forward line, it's him on his own. It's too far apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
And
you.
that's why McTominay looks shy all the time. We Bruno Fernandes is better when we're attacking on the ball. He has them killer passes in him. You
Yeah,
want to see him playing in behind Hoyland 9 times out of 10.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
Getcha.
that,
Yeah,
that's why I question him sometimes. Like it's like Jesus, man,
yeah,
change it. Just change it. What are you gonna lose here? They're battering us anyway.
yeah. I know. Chris, you're scratching your head there. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I agree with what I agree with what Desi's saying is in 100%. But the problem is and like we said, you got to have we're lacking our players. We all know that. We don't need to beat a dead horse about it. But like the way Eric Ten Hag wants to set up the team, he wants to have a center back that's going to sweep behind everybody. Martinez is going to come up and is going to play in front of his center back partner. Is going to play next to, I'm just going to use names, Casemiro. So now you have your double pivot, and then you have your Kobe Manu in as your box to box, and then you should be having Bruno play in behind Hoyland. That's the way he wants to set it up, and then he wants your inverted wing backs, inverted fullbacks to come in, like Delo comes in and helps out. But the problem is we don't have that, and like Desi says, you have to change how you're playing because now you don't have the personnel to play that way. So now you got to sit there and say, and he's not on right now, but Mr. 442, maybe you need to go back to something like that because you got to start packing the midfield so you can get some continuity there or you can do something. But you can't square peg round hole. Like you got to be able to, and like Desi says, I'm Eric Ten Hag in. I am because I think he's the right man for the job. But you can't always have the right personnel. So if you got to be able to put a team out there with the personnel you have to try to win the game. And I don't care if you want to tell me that we have to park the bus and we have to counterattack because of the personnel, then I'm okay with it. But and if the personnel starts to come back and we start playing a little bit different, then you have to do that. But right now, you can't just sit there and say, "Well, this is the way I play, so this is what's going to happen," because we're going to get eaten up.
Yeah,
And that's what, and I mean, and that's what happens. And like today, like you almost look at it and you go, "Okay, well, it's a must-win game. Why didn't we take the Liverpool approach and all of a sudden have Bruno playing center back and put everybody going forward and try to maximize and try to win 2-0? Because if you lose this game or not, it does, I mean, if you lose, you're done anyway. You know what I mean? So if you tie, you're done. You have to win this game to
yeah,
stay within the striking distance of the, especially since Villa won and Spurs won. If one of those teams would have dropped points today, it gives you a little bit of breathing room where you can maybe take a tie. But we had to win this game today.
yeah. I get you. Let me get down through some of the comments, see what people are saying here. Neverworld says Mount to start over Rashford from here on, and Rashford not to get back into the team until he's proved he wants to play. The midfield are so loose and slack on the ball, and no movement off the ball either. Jump in on any of these comments if as you please, guys. Daryl says Bruno is a fucking fraud, lads. End of. Oshin says, Cobby looked exhausted. Would you rest him versus Chelsea to keep him fresh for Liverpool? But that's the big concern, is what are you more likely to get something out of, Liverpool or Chelsea? And I think, I think you have to play him against Chelsea because if you don't, then that fucking fraud from Scotland is going to be in the middle of the park again. And that's my worry anyway. Take a break says, I wish I fucking could take a break. Says, we'll never get why Eric Ten Hag doesn't play Eriksen. He's the only one, or maybe Barmenu, who can keep things together. I agree in a way with that, but I do also think he would have just got ran through in that midfield tonight. I think Brentford would have just smothered the life out of him. Darryl says 100% Mount start over Rashford. He's an absolute joke of a player. Did I hear 442? Says Oshin. New Boy says should United bring back No, we're not getting into that nonsense. Darryl says Eriksen, he hasn't the legs, lad, and wouldn't tackle like or wouldn't put in a tackle like Rashford. Oshin says Eriksen hasn't got the legs. Yeah, same there. How did they get a point out of a performance like that? That's a huge positive out of a rock bottom performance. A lot of hate in the chat for Rashford at the moment. Reece says, worst I've seen in months. Luke says, to be honest, Maguire actually kept us in this, played very well. He will be a decent squad player if he stays. I agree. I thought he done okay when he came on. Talk to me a little bit, Ben, about Onana. I mean, he's seriously turned a corner, hasn't he? And only for him, we would have probably lost that by a cricket score.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with that double save that he made.
Yeah.
It's like the game paused when he got his hand to it and the ball stopped.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. What do we got here? Finn says, Ivan, lads, do you think Ivan Toney is the real deal after tonight's efforts? It depends what the real deal means. You know what I mean? If you could get Ivan Toney for 50 million, then yeah. But 100 million, no. You know
I don't
what
think it matters. I'll be honest, I don't think it matters for us because we can't play to our number 9 anyway.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter who we have.
Yeah, we've got bigger fish to fry, as they say. Oshin says, we have players from 4 different managers who were bought for certain systems. When the director of football comes in and gets cooking, I think we'll be okay. I just want it now, though. I just want it now.
I mean, I'll go back. I'll go as far as saying that I don't like some of the comments. I think Rashford should be dropped, and I think that Mount should come on. But strategically, I think you end up putting Mount, Manu, Casemiro, and Bruno in the midfield as a diamond, and then you play 2 up top, and you just let them play out wide. I'd rather them play out wide than play through the middle, like Desi said. You know, like it's just. And just play with those 4 midfielders in there, clog the middle, and see if we can get some service to Garnacho and Højlund up top at that point. I mean, I hate to, give props to Oshin, but I mean, I think that's the way that we have to play because Rashford's offering nothing. I'm sorry, I'm a Rashford fan, but I can say he's offering nothing at this moment. And I think playing straight wingers at that point is not the way to go. I think we need to try to find numbers somewhere, and go from there.
Yeah. Taig says, if we won today, we would be claiming we can get top 4, I presume. 1 draw and Ten Hag is up for hanging again. Neverword says, stop bringing my nation down with linking that tool with our glorious little country. That's the Scotland. McTominay. Benny says, Van Nistelrooy buries every single one of them chances Tony had. Aaron says Onana was man of the match. You're going to need to educate them what service means first. And Luke says, we need Neves, a midfielder alongside Manu and Bruno in advanced roles is what we need. Casemiro and McSauce are just not the answer. There we go. Yeah. One of the concerns, Desi, I'll go to you on this one, was over the last few games, there's been shots on our own goal, and we had a massive amount of them. And I seen at the very end, they had 80 touches in our box today. Now, Jesus Christ, this is getting worse, isn't it? I mean, do you put that down? That has to be a collective more than anything, doesn't it? Like, it whatever about the defence, which I said I thought we played well today in defence. I mean, allowing the opposition to get into such advanced areas. Surely it's a training ground thing. Like, we're all Eric Ten Hag in at the moment, but surely he has to do better with something like that.
Many touches do we have in their box?
I would be shocked if it was double figures.
So I come back to the same thing I said in the last question. Why does he not change the formation?
Yeah.
Now he's a good manager, and we know that. We know that's what we want there. We want to see him doing well. Everybody, any right Man United fan wants to see him doing well. But if he cannot see that, Jack, on the sideline, there is something seriously pushing wrong.
Yeah.
Excuse the language again, but like they pepper that goal. You can't come down to individual. It's a team as a collective.
Yeah.
There's 11 men on the pitch to stop the other team getting into your half and into your goal.
Yeah.
So that comes down. There's no individual here that caused them having whatever. What did you say? 80 touches or something in their box?
80 touches. Yeah.
Criminal. Yeah. It's shocking, and that's why it's so bad for us to watch. We're looking at the other team just fucking walking outside our box, passing the ball around, having touches, hitting crossbars, hitting posts. There's nothing to get excited about. The only thing to get excited about was the goal. and
Yeah.
Mount scored it. Like, but in terms of what do we do? It's just a team, it's collective. That's what we have at the minute. That's what we're able to do. We're able to give the other team 80 touches in our own box. Like,
Chris, it's going to be a big summer transfer window. It has to be. What? Fuck me. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm clutching at straws here, lads. Fucking hell.
No, I think you're right. It has to be a big summer transfer window, and I try to
Jack,
keep all.
sorry, Chris.
Go ahead.
Jack,
Yeah.
listen to me. The truth will set you free, but force it'll make you miserable.
Fuck's sake.
And
I
that's what
can't.
us United fans don't want, is the
I
truth right
know.
now.
I know. Fuck's sake. Go on, Chris.
Sorry.
I mean, it's I we need. I don't even know what order this needs to go into because we need all of them. So it's like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1F. It's like we need a ball, like Desi said, we need a ball playing center back. Actually, we need two, to be honest.
Yeah.
We need two midfielders, CDMs. We need another striker to help Hoyland because I have no reservations about Hoyland, but he can't play every game, every minute.
Yeah.
He just can't. And I don't even care if you go out and get a 30-year-old that can play 30 minutes a game to give Hoyland time. I don't care because that's fine. But I mean, I think that we need to readjust how we play, and it's two center midfield, two center backs, two center CDMs, and then a striker. I think we can live with having wingers of Rashford and Garnacho and Ahmad and Anthony. I think we can deal with that for a season. Like this whole Michael Elise thing, forget about it. Like 60 million for that guy, and he's had 3 hamstring injuries this year that have kept him out. Like I don't even want to touch him. Like I go out and get your midfielders, go out and get your CDM or get your midfielders, get your center backs, and like you did the one show, solidify the spine of the team because we can't be played through in the middle anymore. Like if we do, we'll get relegated. I mean, heaven forbid, but I mean it's that bad. I mean we need to get that done, and then. If we do that and we get ball playing midfielders and center backs, we will start to score goals because service will come at that point to Hoyland and through balls to Garnacho and everything like that. I mean, but that's what we have to do it. I mean, it's Michael Elise, please just let that be like rumor chatter and just like because as good as he is, I'm not saying he's not good, but he's as fragile as Martial.
Yeah.
You know who I think is trying, Jack?
Go on.
And this is probably a bit out there. You know that guy that plays for Everton, Nana, is that what you call him?
Yeah, we've been linked with him before, yeah.
CDM?
Yeah.
Young enough. Good player.
Yeah, there's talks of him and Brantwaite as been linked with United, you know what I mean? I think a lot will depend on whether Everton actually get relegated or not, which they probably won't now at this stage. But like you're talking 75 million for Brantwaite as a 21-year-old, unproven, and you could get to Debo for 40 million. You know what I mean?
What would Onana's price tag be from?
I think Onana is around the 50 million mark as well. I think. Yeah. But it's an area that we do need to improve. Like I would love to see Onana come in and have a season playing alongside Casemiro. You know what I mean? Or two of them sharing that role where Casemiro doesn't have to play 50 games a season or whatever it may be. But there's a massive overhaul is needed within that squad in the summer. Let me get down through some more of the comments here and we'll see. Footy says 8 points off top 4. Eric Ten Hag should go in the summer for me. I really wanted him to do well. Be his signing and the way we play has been really poor. We had 17 touches in their box, supposedly, says Neverworld. Finn says Eric Ten Hag has said that the team can't play how he wants. Benny says, not making excuses, but we have suffered a lot of injuries and haven't really had a chance to get on a good run. He has to stay for me and come again next season. Yeah, I would agree with that, but like, I won't lie, I'm starting to waver a little bit. I really am now. I'm Eric Ten Hag in.
Whoa.
I am Eric Ten Hag in, but I'm starting to I can't understand how a manager cannot improve these inconsistencies. When you see Brentford, the most inconsistent team so far, this season, you would probably say, go out and put in a performance like that against us. It worries me a little bit. You know what I mean? And being realistic, we're not going to sign 6 or 7 players in the summer. We're probably not. You know what I mean? Are 4 players really going to change everything? Now, I'm not saying changing the manager is going to do that either, by the way. But I just think patience is needed, and I'm starting to fucking run out of it now at this stage.
I tell you, the 4 guys I would say right now is your center back, Tadibo, João Gomez, Onana, and then you take your pick at another center back that's around 40 million. I would Braithwaite. I'm sorry, you can't pay. That's Harry Maguire waiting to happen again. 75 million for that.
They were saying that United are willing to trigger Bremer's release clause from Juventus. It's 51 million.
He's a big boy. Like, I mean, I've watched him a little bit. He reminds me of Gabriel from Arsenal, and everything. But you're getting the eye. You're getting the eye. It's time to go.
No, the missus just popped her head in the door saying she's going to bed. So,
But Bremer. It's fine. Bremer's a good player and everything like that. But even if you get him for 50 and you get Tadibo for 40 and you get Onana and you get João Gomez, and then you bring back Luke Shaw. Let's just say healthy Luke Shaw. You have Martinez healthy. You have Delo, Wan-Bissaka. Then I think those 4 players I think we have a good chance to be competitive in the top 4.
Yeah.
That's not going to win us the league, but we can be competitive in the top 4. And maybe we can sign an older striker that is on a free. I don't know who that would be at this time.
Well, you could go out and sign Benjamin Sesko for 42 million. He's got a release clause there, and then you've got 2 21-year-olds to share the workload.
Yeah, I like Sesko. I've always liked him. When you started the channel, I wanted him, and I was laughing at this one podcast that they were talking about how everybody's coming after United for going after Tadibo, and how they think we're going to get a cut rate price when Red Bull Leipzig and Salzburg did the cut rate price for Sesko when they transferred him.
Yeah.
Everybody was quoting 50 million and then he got sold for 26. Like you got to be kidding me. But no,
well, let me ask you while you're there, Chris, right? Because there's a lot of stuff, and I put a poll up on the YouTube chat. I don't know if you can see it, obviously, there, because you're in on it. But I put up Rashford keep or sell as a poll, and 82% of people are saying sell. What's your thoughts on that?
Right now, you say if it's 75 or higher, sell them.
Yeah. Well, 82% of people. Now, this is only people watching our show here now have said sell. What would you sell him?
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get rid of him, but at the same time, if you're going to get 75 million for Rashford, you sell him now. You invest in numbers. You can go out and buy at least 2 $35 million players at that point. You can go get a.
Well, that's Benjamin Sesko and Tadibo covered pretty much.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
And I'll be honest with you, and I'm a Rashford fan, this, but I'd trade Rashford in. I'd look at Wolves and be like, hey, I'll give you Rashford if you give me Pedro Neto.
Yeah.
I'd wait till next year. To sell him. He's due a good season next year.
For fuck's sake, that's what's coming to.
That's what it is. Next year he's due a good season, and then wait till that summer and see what happens. He's due a bad season the following season. Get rid of him.
Ben.
He's saying the same with Bruno though as well.
Say that again.
Do you cash in on Bruno and get money in for him?
Yeah, I think it's a lot. Well, I was going to say it would be a lot harder to cash in on Bruno because he's the captain, but Rashford is, the homegrown. But what would you do, Ben? Would you cash in on either of them?
Rashford's form, yeah, like you say, 75 million plus you would. And I was just thinking, Bruno, if we're going to build a team for the future, is that what Bruno wants?
Yeah.
So if an offer comes in for him, do you accept it?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Bruno Fernandes specifically, I think if you put a good structured team around Bruno Fernandes, I think he does really well. You know what I mean? I think if you've got a proper midfield there with balance in it, and you've got to, like, if we look at last season, Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno worked really, really well. You know what I mean? Because it had balance to it. I think if we could do that again with new players, I would probably hold on to Bruno. Any uptake on that, guys? Desi or Chris, on the Bruno front?
Yeah, I'd keep him.
Yeah.
Keep him.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like to keep him, but I mean, again, it really depends because you think about this. If you run through the lineup and let's say you get the guys in that you want, and you're going to start Shaw, you're going to start Martinez, you're going to start Todibo, you're going to start Delo. Then you're going to start. Let's just say we get João Gomez and we get Onana. You're going to start them as a double pivot, and then you have Bruno playing as your 10. I mean, or do you get someone that is a little bit better than Bruno? That would work in the midfield. I mean, would that midfield work? You know what I mean? Because then what do you do at Kobe Manu at that point?
The one issue I would have is that if we sold Bruno Fernandes, we would probably have to spend 100 million to replace him with someone as good as him.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
but like if you look at that number 10 role or that creative midfielder role, to get a half decent one, there's not many of them around, and to get a half decent one, you're talking 80 million minimum.
But let me ask this question. So then I push back at you. Like, if you go back and you look at Eric Ten Hag ball when he played at Ajax, did he really have a number 10 that was that dynamic? Because he plays a ball possession type of soccer where Kevin De Bruyne doesn't play right behind Holland.
Yeah.
If you're playing that possession type, you really just need three midfielders that can do everything at that point. So would you cash in on him and get a more well-rounded midfielder?
Sorry, Chris, this is the best comment I've ever seen. Rashford is like my missus. Lots of potential, but only performs twice a year. Brilliant, Benny. Brilliant. Absolutely.
Hopefully Benny's wife isn't watching.
Right, you know what? Let's leave it on that. Let's leave it on a fucking positive note. That was the best comment we could ever finish on. Lads, thanks for joining as always. Desi, Chris, and Ben. Appreciate it as always, lads. And hopefully we'll see you next week. All right.
We'll see you boys. Thursday, right or no?
Yeah, Thursday, yeah, but I'll be back obviously during the week with lives and everything like that. If you're involved, get into the chat as usual. But yeah, back Thursday night with Chelsea.
Okay.
All right.
Catch you later.
Everyone else, guys, I appreciate you watching. Smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Hit subscribe on your way out if you're new to the channel. Like I said, we're about 700 away from 10,000, so we're flying it. I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for all the comments. Disappointing result, but more so the performance was just atrocious, and I think that's what will stick with us. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your night and rest of your weekend. Bank holiday for anyone in Ireland and England, so enjoy, and I'll chat to you on Monday. Take it easy.